Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is Gabe with Indigo Software, genuine Microsoft software for less. So in today's video, we're taking you through how to configure an Active Directory domain in Windows Server 2022. Now, before we get into that, if you're interested in your own copy of Windows Server or other Microsoft software at a great price, check out Indigo Software. We'll have links in the description box below. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, so we're here on the computer. The first thing I did is just record down some basic information. So I typed in the domain name that we're gonna use for the example, and then I've also got my router and IP address, as well as the services listed that we're gonna create. Now, to make this beginner friendly, we're gonna be using the server manager within Windows Server 2022. So we can go ahead and type that in the search, and we'll pull it up. And then once we're here, we're gonna click the Manage button at the top, and we're gonna go with Add Roles and Features. All right, we'll click Next here. And then we're gonna wanna go with role-based feature. So we'll leave this here, press next again. And then we'll select our server, press next. And then we're gonna pick the option Active Directory Domain Services. Now at this point, we have to add all these features in order to set this up. So we need RSAT, Remote Server Administration Tools, ADDS and ADLDS tools. We need everything here, so we'll go ahead and click Add Features. Now we're going to be showing this example as if we were setting this up for a business. So not only do we want domain services, but we would also want to set this up as a DHCP server. So we'll select that and we'll add in the features. And then we also need DNS services as well. Now once you've completed all three of those, we'll hit next. And then we'll hit next here again. All right, and then we'll go ahead and click next again. Here we're getting some information about the features that we selected. The dynamic host configuration protocol allows servers to assign or lease IP addresses to computers and other devices that are enabled as DHCP clients. Okay, so we'll click next. More information about DNS, we'll click next again. Now on this page, you have an option to restart the server. Typically this is a good idea if you have something else running in the background that you don't want to lose data. You can go ahead and check that, but in this case, I don't need to. And I'll press install. All right, so once the feature installation is done, we have to do a little bit of configuration. The first thing that it wants us to do is Active Directory Domain Services. And the first thing it wants us to do is to promote the server to a domain controller. So we're gonna click this to open up that setup wizard. And if these first two options don't apply to you, which in this case, it doesn't apply to us, we're just gonna add a new forest. And the root domain name is gonna be the domain of your business. So for our example, we'll select the one from here and we'll paste it in. We'll press next. Now we have two functionality levels here. We have forest and domain functionality levels. Now these first two options here are pretty important. So if there are multiple domain controllers and the oldest version, for example, is Windows Server 2008 R2, we have to configure this at that lowest level. So something to consider in this setup here. However, since this is a new domain and we have no other domain controllers, we are good to leave it at Windows Server 2016. Now, as far as this goes, we're gonna leave this as default. We need these two, and we are not doing read-only domain controller. When it comes down to the password, this is extremely important. So in the event that something catastrophic happens or the Active Directory is compromised and you need to restore, you're gonna be required to have this DSRM password. So I'm gonna set this as the same password as my administrator account. So we're gonna click next. We can skip through the DNS options. And then here we have the actual domain name. Sometimes it'll shorten the length if the domain, the regular .com domain is too long, but we have the full length here. So we'll click next again. Now, according to Microsoft, on this page, the technical correct way to do this is to store all three of these folders on a separate volume with varying levels of protection. For the sake of how-to, we're gonna click next. Most people are not gonna go through and do this anyways, but we figured it was worth mentioning in case you wanna set that up. So we'll just press next. And then at this point, we have prerequisite checks, and we have all checks passed successfully, so we'll click install to begin. And then here we're about to be signed out, so it's gonna restart the server, and we'll see you guys in a few minutes. All right guys, so at this point we have successfully created an Active Directory domain. If you guys want to see more content about further setting this up and configuring, let us know in the comment section below. Again, if you're interested in your own copy of Windows Server or other Microsoft software at a great price, check out Indigo Software. We'll have links in the description box below. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.